165 pounds. Our next stop, Aidan Wallace of Duke, Charlie Darracott, North Carolina.
Yeah, this could be probably one of the best matches in this first Consi round. Wallace has a really strong season, lost to Fields earlier. Darracott wrestling Hamilton first round, but both of these wrestlers very capable of scoring in bunches. And with 5 qualifiers at this weight, to win this match puts you in the Consi semis. If you win that, you're going. If you lose that, you have to battle for 5th to get that qualifying spot. So there's a lot on the line in this match.
Yeah, 5 qualifiers. That's why that consolation semi very important. But first things first, get into that consolation semi. Charlie Darracott, great story, North Carolina grad student. He followed Rob Cole his first year at Chapel Hill, and boy, lightning quick strike there by Darracott, and he gets the 3. But he wasn't sure if he was going to come back and wrestle collegiately. He was actually doing some coaching, some high school coaching. Rob Cole made the call, and he arrived in time for the 2nd semester, and he has been the starter for North Carolina ever since the calendar flipped to mid-January, and he still has a year of eligibility, and he has filled a hole here for UNC.
Yeah, you see this post-high C, really good attack by Darracott, gets inside control, feels Wallace overtying, and pulls a shot right to his high C in a quick finish.
Darracott spent 4 years at Stanford. Last year, he only wrestled 4 matches at 165 pounds for the Cardinal. His best year was Rob Cole's final year in 2023, won 18 matches. So an athlete who is familiar with a coach, a couple of mat returns, and now in the postseason fray, putting his coaching days on hold for now.
And interesting about Darracott is he really hasn't had many matches this year. But the good thing about the postseason is everyone enters 0-0. That's kind of a cliche thing that coaches like to say, but it really is true. Like, it doesn't necessarily matter what your season looks like up to this point. You can always turn it on and find some magic to get yourself to the tournament. So cool to see a guy like Darracott kind of get this opportunity where, you know, it doesn't really matter if he doesn't have that many matches or that much experience this year. He's a veteran. He knows how to wrestle. He knows how to win matches. So just getting to the tournament is half the battle sometimes.
Yeah, we've seen that case in point already this weekend. Pac-12 had a couple of stories like that where you had a couple of wrestlers with losing records all of a sudden get hot on one day, and next thing you know, they're ready to wrestle for a championship in Philadelphia.
You see Darracott trying to get back to that high C. Wallace also looked to threaten high C. There's a straight on double. He's got to switch off to a single. Good defense by Darracott, sprawling and stuffing it. Yeah, right back to that high C. He's got to drag his feet. They're going to go stall call on Wallace for kicking out of bounds. And that's the smart move by Wallace. You'd rather give up a stall than give up another takedown there. But you see that post high C. Darracott's getting a good read on that inside tie, pulling, going high C, and then finishing double. Just ran out of a little bit of real estate there.
30 seconds, opening period, 3-1 Darracott. He has certainly been on his offense in this opening period. That time Wallace, much better job defending the high C shot.
If you're Wallace, instead of letting Darracott control that inside tie with his left hand, you got to beat him inside before so he doesn't get that read to pull that high C. You see him either try to snap or work his way back in before Darracott gets in there.
You can hear the urgency from the Duke corner. We're situated right next to the mat, so we have a good vantage point, can hear some of the conversations with the coaches and athletes. It's almost come on, let's get it going. This is not the Aidan Wallace that we watched throughout the course of the year coming from that Duke corner.
Yeah, you want to see him be offensive. You want to see him chain attacks together. And, at the end of the first period, you only have 4 minutes left. If you're going to do it on top, you really got to commit to the ride. But if he's going to get out, then you really have to start your offense. He is very good on top. He's good at collecting wrist, so he could be looking for a cross wrist roll here to put himself back in the match.
He has collected Darracott's left wrist as he goes to work. You see him switching side to side, trying to find that right leverage and angle. Wallace turned a lot of folks this year. And if you're Darracott underneath, You see him try to clear out that wrist. That's obviously the first point of business, clear the wrist. What's the second against a guy like Wallace?
Well, maintaining your seal off is really important. Oftentimes off bottom, you want to seal off with your elbows to not let the guy get underneath your arms. If you can seal off, once you fight hands and you seal off, you don't let him back in. So you fight hands, you seal off, and then you start working to get up to your feet. What we saw there was Aidan Wallace getting to the edge and pulling Darracott off the mat, and they got him for stalling again, which is going to be a point. So earlier, he went off the mat to avoid a double leg and got warned, and now as he takes him off the mat, instead of trying to mat return or work for a turn, get him with stalling again. So that's a big point for Darracott.
Off the whistle, Darracott. In leg quad pod, Wallace trying to get that feel. As that thigh pry in, now Darracott up to his feet.
Yeah, you see him controlling the hands there. Just stay up top now, okay? It's on Wallace to return you. Keep the hands, stay up on your feet. Don't let him mat return. You're either going to get a stall or he's going to cut you. Should be stall call soon here if he doesn't return him.
Now he drops down to the lower half, and out of bounds they go.
Yeah, smart by Wallace. Probably stall call was coming, drop down the leg, drive him out, and get a fresh start.
Cole in the North Carolina corner watching. Year 2 and share of the ACC regular season title. It was a crazy year in the ACC. North Carolina beat Virginia Tech early in the dual schedule. And Virginia Tech knocked off North Carolina State. North Carolina State knocked off UNC, and we end up with a three-way tie like we had a few years ago when Pitt was part of that conversation.
Yeah, the dual meets were really exciting. I always like it when you come into the tournament setting, especially when there's a three-way tie, because it's like, all right, let's settle it here today. Let's see who the real champ is.
Darracott looking really crisp in this consolation round.
Yeah, he's just had a great read on that high C to Wallace's right leg. Now he's in a bit of a scramble. He's going to run out of time.
Second period comes to a halt. That's a victory for Darracott in that period. Wallace very dangerous in that top position, and Darracott avoided getting put onto his back, giving up any type of Wallace offense from that near fall look, and now it's in Darracott's corner as he goes on top in a 5-1 lead.
Yeah, he's in a strong position. If you're Wallace, you got to get to your feet quick and get an escape and give yourself some time to work in neutral. You don't want to waste any time down here. Get your escape, and then you got to start finding some offense to tie up the match. Darracott, commit to the ride on top, right? Shorten the period a little bit, take down the time, work for some mat returns if you can. You see him really committing to try to be stingy on top, staying in the mat, letting the clock tick down, getting a restart. Just those little sequences there, 14 seconds here, 10 seconds here. Over time, that really starts to build up, and it's hard for the bottom guy to continue to respond to that.
Darracott, a three-time state champion in Georgia, Buford High School. He was a four-time state finalist before heading to the West Coast and Stanford. Wallace doing everything to try to get away. Good job here by Darracott. Drops in on that leg near the edge. Scramble. Signal by the referee indicating that the riding time clock is going to stop. Wallace close to getting the 2, and he does before they go out of bounds. The reversal and a little bit of life for Aidan Wallace.
Yeah, good wrestling by Wallace. He was able to get to his feet. Darracott dropped down to the leg and he got hit with a stalling for the 5-second count on the leg, and then Wallace continued to wrestle, gets his right leg in to secure the reversal before they go out of bounds. 5-3 with 1:20 left. You're starting to see a little bit of momentum from Wallace. See if he can capitalize on it here moving forward. Looks like they might just be checking on some timing.
Yeah, I think the riding time clock should have stopped once that stall was.
Yeah, Wallace is he's not going to win this on riding time. He's either going to need to get a turn or he's going to have to cut him and work for a takedown. Riding him out the rest of the period does you no good.
When do you bail on the turn?
I think you give yourself a solid 20 seconds if you can try to get a wrist or if you can get to your bread and butter. But if you don't feel it, you got to go neutral. You got to give yourself some time to put a sequence together on your feet to get a takedown. He also has a stall call too, so you don't want to give up a stall call on top. That was a smart decision. Now he's got a minute. He's got to go get a takedown. He's going to start turning up the heat. Darracott's got to do a better job of staying center. There he turns back in. Good. See him getting into those fingers, trying to slow him down a little bit. If you can get to a control tie, maybe try to ice the match with that high C. There he goes right back to it.
And he's able to secure it, but they were out of bounds. He could not toe drag it as he tried to keep those toes inside the cylinder. Second time that Wallace is inched out of harm's way.
Yeah, really kind of just saved there by maybe an inch or a centimeter or so.
Oh, it was his elbow that hit the hardwood first.
As soon as you go, he hit the hardwood. The match,
done.
It's done. So he's got 35 seconds. He's got to pick up some more action. Darracott's had a read for that high C. There he's punching underhook. He's got to snap off that. That's it. Darracott control center, get to a control tie, get your head in the way. Don't give Wallace a free shot. You can take some stall calls if you want. If you're Darracott. Good job down blocking with his head. You can pinch here and waste some time. If you feel Wallace starting to pressure, you can circle back in.
Charlie Darracott is controlling the head on both knees, and he is going to win this consolation match. Start to finish. Had a takedown early, and then that important escape in the second period, and he hangs on in the third. Darracott and North Carolina. Breaking the action here from the ACCs. We'll be back with more of the consolation bracket right after these words.